Hello from Mindset Daily, wishing you a day full of health, peace, and happiness. Thank you for watching the Mindset Daily channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support us. Thank you so much.
Have you ever wondered why some people achieve massive success while others stay stuck? What if the real difference isn't luck, talent, or connections, but something far more powerful? And what if that one factor is already within your reach today? The size of your success is determined by the size of your belief. Think about that. Most people carry small beliefs, and as a result, they live small lives. But that won't be you, not after today. I've studied successful people for over 40 years, millionaires, champions, innovators, and leaders. Do you know what they all have in common? They faced tremendous odds. Every single one of them had chapters filled with doubt, difficulty, and what seemed impossible. The real question isn't whether you'll face obstacles. It's what you'll do when they arrive. Will you retreat, make excuses, or will you rise and overcome? Most people, when challenged, immediately list reasons why they can't succeed. The economy is bad, they don't have the right education, they lack connections, or they don't have enough time. I call this the great litany of alibis. They sound reasonable, even logical, but in truth, they are poison to your potential. Winners take the same circumstances and ask different questions. How can I make this work? What can I learn here? Where's the hidden opportunity in this problem? That single shift in perspective makes all the difference. Here's something I want you to write down. Circumstances do not make the man. They reveal him to himself. The way you respond to difficulty doesn't just shape your results, it reveals your character. Let me share something personal. When I was a young man, I was broke, discouraged, and completely lost. I had a young family to support and dreams that seemed impossible. Then one day, a mentor asked me a question that changed everything. Jim, if you don't change, will your future be any better than your present? That question struck me like lightning. In that moment, I realized if I wanted things to change, I had to change. If I wanted life to get better, I had to get better. That's the foundation of winning against all odds. Understanding that success isn't about circumstances, it's about growth. Too many people wait for their circumstances to change without changing themselves. That's like expecting a harvest without planting seeds. It doesn't work that way. The universe responds to action, to growth, to change from within. Now, let's talk about the mindset of a winner. Winners aren't people who never fail. They're people who never quit. Every successful person I've ever met has a story of failure, often many. The difference is they didn't let failure define them, they let it refine them. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before finally inventing the light bulb. When asked about it, he replied, "I didn't fail 10,000 times. I successfully found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's the mindset of a winner. Colonel Sanders was rejected 1,009 times before someone finally accepted his chicken recipe. Imagine that. Over 1,000 rejections. Most people would have quit after 10, let alone 1,000. But he persisted, and today KFC is known worldwide. That is what it means to win against all odds. Now, let me share something else about winning. When everything feels against you, you must have a clear vision of what you want. Vague goals create vague results. Many people set such fuzzy goals that even if they achieve them, they don't recognize their own success. Be specific. Write it down. Review it daily. Writing clarifies your thinking, and reviewing keeps your goals at the front of your mind. Most people focus on what they don't want. Winners focus on what they do want. Here's a simple exercise. Take out a sheet of paper and write down the 5 most important goals in your life. Be precise. Don't just write, "I want to be successful." Write, "I want to earn $100,000 a year by December 31st doing work I love." Don't just say, "I want to be in better shape." Write, "I want to run a marathon in under 4 hours by next spring." Clarity is power. When you know exactly what you want, your mind begins searching for ways to achieve it. That clarity becomes a compass guiding you through the storms of life. And make no mistake, storms will come. There will be days when nothing works, moments when you feel like quitting. That's why you need more than goals, you need reasons. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't just the quality of their goals, but the strength of their reasons. When your reasons are strong enough, you'll find a way. When they're not, you'll find an excuse. Ask yourself, why do I want to achieve this goal? What will it mean for my life, for my family, for my legacy? The deeper and more meaningful your reasons, the stronger your resilience when obstacles appear. I once spoke with a man who had lost 200 pounds. I expected to hear about some revolutionary diet or exercise program. Instead, he said, I finally found a reason stronger than my excuses. His daughter had asked if he would still be alive to walk her down the aisle on her wedding day. That question struck him deeply. From that moment on, he made a decision to change. His reason was stronger than his excuses. That's exactly what you need to win against all odds. Reasons that outweigh excuses. Reasons that get you out of bed in the morning. Reasons that push you forward when times are tough. Now, let's talk about something most people don't want to hear. Winning against all odds requires discipline. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. Without it, even the biggest dreams remain only dreams. Many confuse discipline with enjoyment. They think, if I don't enjoy this task, I must not be disciplined. But that's not discipline. Discipline is doing what must be done even when you don't feel like it. The successful businessman doesn't always feel like reviewing financial reports. The champion athlete doesn't always feel like training. The accomplished writer doesn't always feel like writing. What sets them apart is that they do it anyway. They've mastered the art of acting regardless of how they feel. Let me share a simple but powerful formula. Discipline equals remembering what you want. When you're tempted to procrastinate or take the easy way out, remember your goals. Remember your reasons. That reminder fuels discipline. Winners also understand the power of incremental progress. They know massive success doesn't come overnight. It happens one step at a time, one day at a time, one decision at a time. Most people overestimate what they can do in a year, yet underestimate what they can do in 10. They crave instant results, and when they don't see them, they quit. Winners play the long game. They know consistent daily progress, even small, compounds into extraordinary results. Here's an example. If you save just $100 a month starting at age 25, with an 8% return, by age 65 you'll have over $300,000. Wait until 35, and you'll have less than $140,000. The difference isn't in how much you save, but in the power of compounding over time. The same principle applies to every area of life. Reading only 10 pages a day equals about 3,650 pages a year, roughly 12 books. In 10 years, that's 120 books. Do you think reading 120 books in your field would change your career? Absolutely. Exercising just 30 minutes daily may not seem like much, but over a year, that's more than 180 hours of physical activity. Do you think that would make a difference in your health? Without question, small disciplines, repeated daily with consistency, lead to great achievements over time. Winning against all odds isn't about one big heroic effort. It's about small, steady actions taken day after day. But here's the challenge. These small disciplines are easy to do, yet just as easy not to do. It's easy to read 10 pages, but also easy to skip them. It's easy to save $100, but just as easy to spend it. It's easy to exercise for 30 minutes, but also easy not to. The difference between winners and losers isn't what they know, it's what they do with what they know. Knowledge alone isn't enough. Action is essential. Another key to winning against all odds is mastering your emotions. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond. Setbacks will come, that's guaranteed. But your response determines whether those setbacks become roadblocks or stepping stones. Most people let emotions dictate their choices. They feel discouraged, so they quit. They feel fear, so they never begin. They feel uncomfortable, so they retreat to what's familiar. Winners, however, learn to manage their emotions instead of being controlled by them. So how do you manage your emotions? First, understand that emotions are triggered by thoughts. Change your thoughts, and you change your emotions. Second, focus on what you can control, not what you can't. You may not control circumstances, but you always control your response. Third, build emotional resilience through daily practices like gratitude, reflection, and self-care. And fourth, surround yourself with people who lift you up instead of pulling you down. Your environment influences your emotions more than you might realize. Speaking of environment, let's talk about the power of association. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Their habits, their attitudes, their incomes, their outcomes, all of it shapes you, whether you're aware of it or not. If you want to win against all odds, you must be intentional about who you let into your life. Seek out people who inspire, challenge, and support your growth. Limit time with those who drain your energy, discourage your dreams, or reinforce limiting beliefs. That doesn't mean cutting people out completely. It means being strategic about how much influence they have over your thinking and your decisions. Some people you may need to see less often. Others you may need to see in different contexts. With some, you may simply need to change the kind of conversations you have. Remember, it's not only about who you spend time with. It's also about what you talk about. Are your conversations centered on problems or solutions? On the past or the future? On limitations or possibilities? Winners have winner conversations. Now, let's address something that stops many people from winning against the odds: fear. Fear of failure, rejection, criticism, and the unknown. These fears can paralyze you if you allow them. But here's the truth. Fear is based on predictions that haven't happened yet and may never happen. Fear is often just false evidence appearing real. It feels real, but most of the time, it's only imagination running wild. Winners don't eliminate fear. They act despite it. They know courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the triumph over it. As Nelson Mandela once said, "I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it." The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. So how do you conquer fear? By taking action. Action cures fear. Every step you take replaces the unknown with the known, anxiety with experience, and paralysis with momentum. Start small if you need to, but start. Make that phone call. Send that email. Have that conversation. Take that class. Apply for that position. Each action builds confidence for the next. Another enemy of winning against the odds is procrastination. Procrastination is the thief of time, the assassin of opportunity, and the killer of dreams. It's not just delaying tasks, it's delaying life itself. Most people procrastinate because they feel overwhelmed by the size of what they need to do. They see the mountain ahead and think, "I can't climb that." But you don't climb a mountain in one giant leap. You climb it one step at a time. Break big tasks into smaller, manageable chunks. Focus on progress, not perfection. Use deadlines to create urgency. And above all, just start. Often, the hardest part is simply beginning. As Lao Tzu said, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." Take that step today, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Because here's the truth. You'll never feel 100% ready for the important things in life. Ready is a myth. Start now. And now, let's talk about something often overlooked in conversations about success: the power of failure. Yes, you heard that right. Failure, when handled correctly, can become one of your greatest assets in winning against the odds. Most people avoid failure at all costs. They play it safe, stick with what they know, and never step into the unknown because they're afraid to fail. But winners understand failure is not fatal, it's formative. It's not the end, it's education. Every failure carries a lesson. Every setback holds the seed of a comeback. Every mistake carries the possibility of an equal or even greater benefit, if you have the wisdom to look for it. When Colonel Sanders was rejected for the 100th time, he didn't quit. When Thomas Edison discovered his 5,000th failed attempt at the light bulb, he didn't stop. When Abraham Lincoln lost his 8th election, he didn't walk away from politics. They persisted because they knew failure is part of the process, not the end of it. Here's a powerful exercise. The next time you fail, ask yourself, what's the lesson here? What can I learn that will help me succeed next time? That single shift in perspective transforms failure from a stop sign into a stepping stone. And remember, failure is an event, not a person. Just because you fail doesn't mean you are a failure. It means you're growing, learning, stretching, and becoming more. That's exactly what winners do. Another essential element in winning against all odds is the power of faith. And I don't just mean religious faith, though that can play a role. I'm talking about faith in yourself, faith in your abilities, and faith in your future. Faith is the ability to see the invisible, believe the incredible, and attempt the impossible. It's the foundation of all great achievements. Without faith, you'll quit at the first sign of trouble. With faith, you'll persevere until you succeed. So how do you build this kind of faith? By keeping promises to yourself. Every time you say you'll do something and follow through, you strengthen your belief. Each time you face a fear and overcome it, you reinforce your faith. Each time you learn a new skill or solve a tough problem, you grow stronger. Faith isn't built in grand moments. It's forged in small, consistent acts of courage and integrity. It's built in the daily choice to keep going when giving up would be easier. And here's the truth. Your faith must be bigger than your fears, your dreams bigger than your doubts, your commitment stronger than your comfort zone. Because life will test you. It will test your faith, your resolve, and your commitment. In those moments, what you believe about yourself and your possibilities will decide whether you push forward or give up. Winners have unshakable faith, not because they're naive, but because they've trained the muscle of belief through consistent practice. They've learned to see possibilities where others only see problems. Now, let's talk about something practical, the power of preparation. Luck, they say, is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. If you want to win against all odds, you must be ready when opportunity knocks. The truth is, most people want opportunities but aren't willing to prepare for them. They want the promotion without developing the skills for the next level. They want the big break without putting in the groundwork. They want success but aren't ready for its demands. Winners, however, prepare relentlessly. They sharpen their skills even when no one is watching. They keep learning, practicing, and improving, not just until they get it right, but until they can't get it wrong. I once spoke with a successful musician who said, "I practice 8 hours a day, so I can be spontaneous for 5 minutes on stage." That's the mindset of a winner. What others call overnight success is almost always the result of years of preparation behind the scenes. So ask yourself, how are you preparing today for the opportunities of tomorrow? What skills are you building? What knowledge are you gaining? What relationships are you nurturing? What habits are you forming? Your preparation today determines your success tomorrow. Another key to winning against all odds is adaptability. In today's rapidly changing world, survival doesn't belong to the strongest or even the smartest. It belongs to those who can adapt. Most people resist change. Many people cling to what's familiar, even when it no longer works. They keep repeating the same actions despite diminishing results. They hold on to outdated ideas, methods, and approaches even when new realities demand change. Winners, on the other hand, embrace change. They see it not as a threat, but as an opportunity. They understand that growth requires letting go of who you are to become who you can be. Adaptability doesn't mean abandoning your values or vision. It means staying flexible in your methods while remaining committed to your mission. It's about finding a new path to the same destination when the old one is blocked. Businesses that survived the digital revolution weren't necessarily the biggest or the richest. They were the ones that adapted fastest to changing consumer behaviors. The individuals who thrive in shifting job markets aren't always those with the strongest resumes, but those who constantly update their skills. So, how adaptable are you when circumstances change? Do you resist or respond? When new information comes, do you adjust your approach or cling to old beliefs? Your ability to adapt may be one of your greatest assets in winning against the odds. Now, let's talk about the power of service. It might sound counterintuitive, but one of the surest ways to succeed against all odds is to focus not on what you can get, but on what you can give. Most people approach success with a "what's in it for me" mentality. Most people focus only on their own benefits, their own gains, their own rewards. But that approach is both limited and limiting. Winners understand that true success comes through service to others. The more people you serve, the more successful you become. The more problems you solve, the more valuable you are. The more value you create, the more rewards naturally flow back to you. This isn't just a feel-good idea. It's practical advice for both business and life. Look at any truly successful person or organization and you'll find the same foundation: a deep commitment to service, to adding value, to making a difference. Zig Ziglar said it best. You can have everything in life you want if you will just help other people get what they want. That's the paradox of success. It comes most easily to those who don't chase it directly, but instead focus on contribution. So ask yourself, how can I serve more? How can I add more value? How can I make a bigger difference? The answers to those questions will lead you further than any self-centered strategy ever could. Another essential element in winning against all odds is persistence. Persistence is to character what carbon is to steel. It gives strength to withstand the hammer blows of life. Most people quit too soon. They start with enthusiasm, but give up when the excitement fades or obstacles appear. They're like farmers who plant in the spring, abandon their fields in the summer, and then wonder why there's no harvest in the fall. Winners, however, persist. They understand that many of life's failures are simply people who didn't realize how close they were to success when they gave up. Persistence isn't just about trying again and again. It's about learning, adjusting, and growing throughout the process. Calvin Coolidge said it best. Nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. Think about water. Soft, yielding, gentle, yet over time, it cuts through solid rock. Not with force, but with persistence. Drop by drop, day after day, year after year, it patiently shapes even the hardest stone. Be like water in your persistence. Don't try to overcome obstacles with brute force alone. Rely on the steady pressure of daily disciplines, applied with patience and persistence over time. Few barriers can withstand such an approach. Now, let's talk about something often overlooked in success literature: the power of authenticity. Winning against all odds isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. Too many people spend their lives trying to be what they think others expect them to be. They chase formulas for success, copying the styles of those who came before, without asking if those methods align with their own strengths, values, and purpose. Winners, however, have the courage to be themselves. They understand there's no real power in imitation, but tremendous power in authenticity. They know their strengths and play to them. They acknowledge their weaknesses and either work to improve them or build teams that complement them. Oscar Wilde once said, "Be yourself. Everyone else has already taken." That's not just clever wordplay. It's profound advice for anyone determined to win against the odds. Your uniqueness is not a liability. It's your greatest asset. So ask yourself, what makes you different? What perspectives, experiences, talents, or approaches set you apart? When embraced instead of hidden, those differences become your greatest advantage in both life and business. Another key to winning against all odds is responsibility. Taking total, complete, unqualified responsibility for your life and your results. Most people are quick to claim credit for their successes, but even quicker to blame others for their failures. They point to the economy, the government, their boss, their upbringing, or their circumstances, anyone and anything but themselves. Winners take full responsibility for their lives. They understand that while they can't always control what happens, they can always control how they respond. Blaming others may feel satisfying for a moment, but it keeps you trapped in a victim mindset. Responsibility gives you back your power. It shifts you from being a passenger in your own life to being the driver. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and instead ask, "What can I do about this? How can I use this? What's the opportunity here?" Responsibility isn't about blame, it's about empowerment. It's not saying everything is your fault. It's saying everything is your opportunity. It's not carrying the weight of the world. It's holding the keys to your freedom. Now, let's talk about something essential for lasting success: the power of renewal. Winning against all odds isn't just about pushing harder. It's also about recharging yourself so you can continue the journey. Most people exhaust themselves, pushing and pushing until they burn out. They sacrifice health for wealth, relationships for achievements, and balance for success, only to discover that without health, wealth loses its shine. Without relationships, achievements feel hollow. And without balance, success feels empty. Winners know the importance of renewal. Winners know the quality of their lives, and the sustainability of their success depend on their ability to renew themselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Physical renewal comes from proper nutrition, regular exercise, good sleep, and managing stress. Mental renewal comes from continuous learning, creative pursuits, and intellectual challenges. Emotional renewal comes through meaningful relationships, expressing feelings, and building emotional intelligence. Spiritual renewal is found in connecting to something greater than yourself, whether through faith, nature, art, service, or meditation. Without renewal, even the most disciplined person will eventually falter. As Stephen Covey said, you must regularly sharpen the saw if you want to keep cutting effectively. So ask yourself, how well are you renewing? Are you making time for activities and relationships that restore your energy and perspective? Or are you running on empty, wondering why your efforts no longer produce the same results? Remember, winning against all odds isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. And marathons demand not only endurance, but wise pacing and regular replenishment. Let me share one more crucial element in winning against the odds: the power of decision. Your life changes the moment you make a clear, congruent, and committed decision. Most people don't make decisions, they make wishes. They say, I hope things get better. I wish I had more money. I'd like to be in better shape. Wishes without decisions are like clouds without rain, full of promise but empty of power. Winners make real decisions, and real decisions share three qualities. First, they are made consciously, not by default. Second, they align with your values and goals instead of conflicting with them. Third, they are fully committed to, not just considered. When you truly decide, you cut off all other options. The word decide comes from the Latin decidere, meaning to cut off. To decide is to eliminate the possibility of not acting. It's burning the bridges of retreat and committing completely. Think about the major decisions in your life: who to marry, what career to pursue, where to live. Those choices shaped everything that followed. In the same way, the decisions you make today will shape your tomorrow. So ask yourself, what decisions have you been postponing? What changes have you been considering but not committing to? What improvements have you been wishing for but never deciding on? Make those decisions today, not tomorrow, not next week, not when conditions are perfect. Today. Because here's the truth. Your life right now is the result of the decisions you've made so far. If you want a different life, you must make different decisions. In closing, remember this: winning against all odds isn't about luck, magic, or even talent. It's about applying these principles consistently, day after day, no matter the circumstances. It's about having a clear vision of what you want and powerful reasons for why you want it. It's about building the discipline to do what must be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's about making steady progress every day and understanding the compounding power of time. It's about managing your emotions instead of being managed by them. It's about surrounding yourself with people who lift you up, not those who pull you down. It's about facing your fears and acting despite them. It's about defeating procrastination by breaking big tasks into small, manageable steps. It's about seeing failure as education, not the end. It's about building unshakable faith in yourself and your potential. It's about preparing relentlessly for the opportunities ahead. It's about adapting to change rather than resisting it. It's about focusing on service to others instead of what you can get. And it's about persisting when others give up. It's about having the courage to be authentic rather than pretending to be someone else. It's about taking full responsibility for your life and results. It's about renewing yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And it's about making real, committed decisions that change the trajectory of your life. These principles aren't complicated, but they aren't easy either. They require commitment, practice, and constant refinement. But I promise you this: if you apply them consistently, you will win against the odds. You will succeed where others fail. You will triumph where others surrender. And along the way, you won't just create extraordinary results. You'll become an extraordinary person. That is the ultimate purpose of challenges and obstacles. Not to stop you, but to strengthen you. Not to defeat you, but to develop you. Not to break you, but to build you. The odds you face today are not your enemies. They are your opportunities. They're not here to define your limitations, but to reveal your potential. They're not designed to hold you down, but to lift you higher than you ever imagined. So embrace the odds. Welcome the challenges. Celebrate the obstacles. Because with the right mindset, the right strategies, and the right actions, you won't just overcome, you'll be transformed by them. And years from now, when people ask how you achieved remarkable success, you'll simply say, I won against all odds, and so can you. The choice is yours. The time is now. The opportunity is here. What will you do with it? Thank you for watching. I wish you health, happiness, and success. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Mindset Daily.